All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to North Coast Coffee Chats. I'm Loan Coach Kelly with One Trust Home Loans, and got my partner in crime with me today,
David West, your solar best.
That's right. And we are shooting episode number 31 of North Coast Coffee Chats. We are members of North Coast Networking Group, NCCC. We meet every Thursday morning at Beach Plum Kitchen. We're a business networking group built on referrals and relationships and trying to help members grow the business. North Coast Coffee Chats kind of spun out from that group to get to know our members a little bit better, a little bit more about their company, about themselves, ways that we can help promote them and help them grow their business, and just have a good time. And so today with episode 31, we have one of our, not newer members, but first time on the podcast. So Brandi Fluch with us today. How's it going, Brandi?
Hi, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So Brandi is in the payroll services industry, and she works for Paychex. So we're going to get to know a little bit about Brandi today. We're going to get to know a little bit about Paychex and how we can help her grow her business. So Dave, lead us off here.
Sure. Well, welcome this morning. When it comes to where you're at right now, working for Paychex and employee or employment, what's like the overall word that you'd use for it?
Human capital management.
Human capital management. That's a way better way to put it.
Human capital management. I like this.
Tell us a little bit about your journey going from, Brandi before human capital management to now being an entrepreneur in human capital management.
Okay. Well, joining Paychex kind of takes me back to college days.
Okay.
I've always been working since I was able to legally get a work permit. And during college, I worked for a CPA as a bookkeeper to pay my way through school at Cal State San Marcos while I was earning my business degree.
Okay.
After that, I moved to Hawaii. I was in advertising sales for 5 years for a monthly publication out there. When I came back, I had the opportunity to get some exposure to stay in sales, but to basically staffing and recruiting for finance and accounting professionals. So still kind of a bit of a tie-in. I was still in sales and still had the finance component to it. A client asked me to come work for them after a couple of years, and that was my entree into manufacturing, additive manufacturing. So cast urethane, additive, 3D printed parts. And I ended up doing that for quite some time, probably at least 6 years. I also had a few years in automotive. So when Paychex actually reached out to me when I was still at my traditional and additive manufacturing job last, I took some time to find out a little bit more. Obviously, everybody knows Paychex, right? Payroll, but I didn't know how all-encompassing it was. And I thought it was a great opportunity for me to kind of blend my experiences and my background. And I haven't looked back. I joined last year, and I'm really loving the opportunity to continue to grow in this new industry for me.
Great. So they actually pursued you.
It wasn't like, it was a recruiter that reached out.
Okay.
I said I was open to opportunities, and a recruiter reached out, and I went through, multiple interviews, and it was a great process. I learned a lot about the company, had a chance to talk to who would ultimately be my boss, my district sales manager, and some colleagues, and it's been great. I got really lucky to have been selected for a phenomenal team with some very tenured, experienced professionals who are also truly kind and supportive. So it's been great.
That's great.
That's awesome.
There's quite a competition in that space. There's some rather sizable companies. You guys are probably top 2 or 3?
Yeah, we're the second leading, payroll accounting service company in the U.S. We've got about 750,000 business clients across the U.S. and Europe.
Okay.
Yeah, and for me, I specialize in small to medium-sized businesses, and I'm on a team where we are CPA and accountant focused. So I actually get to do the part of my job that I love best, which is building relationships. So I get to build, foster, and really nurture those relationships with the accounting professionals and be a resource so that when they have a business that needs payroll or HR services, they can reach out to me and they know that I'll be a trusted resource to get them onboarded, hold their hand through the process, and take care of them.
Okay, got it. So you're not necessarily knocking on doors so much as you have an established portfolio of clientele that you just supervise, manage, maintenance, and make sure that they keep you guys in their thoughts as they continue to grow their clientele base with accounting services.
Correct. So CPA firms or enrolled agents, accountants, those are my main contacts. And then they bring to me, or introduce me to, I should really say, their business accounts, their business clients. So that client then becomes a mutual client. A lot of the CPAs and accountants that I work with don't offer payroll services in-house. They would rather spend their time on higher income generating activities, client advisory services, things of that nature. So then we end up being a partner to them. They know that we'll be able to take care of the payroll and HR side, they'll take care of the accounting side, and then the client is taken care of. That's not to say that I don't still have to go out and do some biz dev, as you said, and prospect for some additional clients to bring in on my own. But it's great because I have exposure to a ton of different industries.
Nice.
That's awesome. What do you find is, since you've been there for about a year now? Or
a little under a year.
What's been your most challenging moments kind of encountering this new business?
We have what we call selling season. That's our very busiest time of year, and it is legit like drinking from a fire hose. Just keeping up with the pace is a lot. Sometimes it can be a little extra work dragging your clients across the finish line in terms of, I need this number, I need that number, now I need your California EDD number. If they're out of state, did you file for this jurisdiction? Can I get that paperwork? Just so we can get them properly set up and make sure that their tax pay is all handled, so that we can take everything off of their plate and take on the full liability for running their payroll.
So you're doing a lot of not chasing down new prospects, but actually chasing down your current clients to get information from them to actually do your job.
It's more about the prospects that I'm bringing on. And getting to be able to bring them on, I need the full package of information.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's not just neat and tidy, ready to go.
It's weird. Most business owners aren't that organized.
Yeah, they're busy running their business, right? Who knew?
Yeah.
Boy,
No, it's like
a lot of nuts and bolts there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for you, what is, in your role, how do you bring value to your clients?
So I like to tell my firms that I work with and the clients themselves that I am kind of their quarterback, right? For you sports fans over here.
Yeah.
That's football, right?
Good job. I might be in sales, right? I'm not the payroll specialist that's running or calculating their payroll. But if they have an issue or they need to make a change, they can reach out to me, and then I will get the ball down the field to that appropriate receiver.
Nice.
Got it. Very well put. Easy to understand that. So, having a couple of employees and running payroll as a company and going through some of the challenges and nuances that you have to go through every year to file your taxes or, submit some stupid new form that the IRS requires you to submit that you have to go through and enter the same information 17 times, then it doesn't let you submit. There's a lot that goes into all of that stuff. Do you guys have an onboarding team at Paychex, or is this that's your role? When you get that client and you secure that new relationship, do you have to help them dot every I and cross every T to get to the finish line?
My job is to bring them on, to present their different options after really truly assessing what their needs are, and then help them get onboarded with all the right paperwork, get their account set up. And then from there, we actually have what's called an implementation team. There are specialists there that get them through that first payroll, help them if they have any questions regarding our Paychex Flex software. It's a single sign-on, one point of service software across all of our different packages. So whether it's a one-man business up to, an enterprise type company with 500 employees, it's the same software, so it's scalable. So they will help them with any questions that they have through that. And then from there, after that, they get a dedicated payroll specialist that is there to assist them. And what's nice about us, compared to some of our competitors, is that we are 24/7, 365. So they can pick up the phone and call us, they can email us, they can use live chat, and we're always available. And we're based out of Rochester, New York.
Okay. That's good. Yeah, and that's the city that never sleeps. So you know that they're going to be answered. That's actually interesting. So you do the payroll services, but we actually had one of our members reach out about an employment attorney. What other services do you offer to the rest of your
so HR
clients?
is a big component of what we do as well, especially here in California. I think California and New York are tied for like being the most regulation heavy, shall we say, employee friendly states. There's, I think, 20 new bills or whatever that were passed that go into effect either January 1 this year or April. Something as simple as a company last year in July, the workplace violence prevention training went into effect. That's a mandatory thing that businesses have to offer to all of their employees. They have to have a written policy. They have to have a log for anything happens. So we have a bunch of HR options. We have great bundled resources where you can bundle your payroll and HR support, whether it's a virtual dedicated person or like an HR BP where it's somebody who is dedicated to your company, assigned to your company, that will do an assessment with you and then work up a plan for the next 3 to 6 months to say these are your goals and then stick with you to help you achieve them. So HR is a big another service that we offer in addition to payroll. But then we also have merchant processing. We have workers' comp, 401k. We're, I want to say, the first or second largest 401k record keeper in the U.S. So we've got a wide breadth of services that we can offer for businesses.
Got it.
Yeah, and that's really important because payroll comes with so much behind it.
Yeah.
Like to make sure that employees getting their benefits the right way, and then that comes with HR making sure they get the right benefits, and then so it's awesome you offer the full services. Well, let's take a little turn, from Paychex, and let's get to know Brandi a little bit more. So are you originally from San Diego?
Yeah, I'm a rare San Diego native.
Wow.
I was,
Dang.
Not many of those.
born and raised in Encinitas and La Costa.
Wow.
Went to school literally through college within like a 5-mile radius. So I started at St. John's and then San Dieguito High School when it was still called San Dieguito, and then Cal State San Marcos.
All right.
That's crazy.
I've always only lived
neat.
here. I took 5 years to live in Hawaii, which was an amazing experience, and then came literally right back to where I was.
Paradise to paradise.
Yeah.
There's paradise hopping.
Pretty similar environments.
I prefer the milder weather, clearly.
Yeah. What? So what was a young Brandi? What were you like as a kid? What kind of things did you get yourself into?
Loads of fun. I was always played sports. It was usually basketball or volleyball. Back in the day, we could run around the neighborhood with friends and just know that you had to come in when the lights came on, the street lights came on. I loved spending time at the beach. As I got older, I really enjoyed the outdoors, backpacking, hiking, rock climbing. I got scuba certified back in, 98. So, yeah.
That is fun. I've done that before.
Yeah. And now, I'm married. I have an 11-year-old daughter. My husband coaches her AYSO rec team for soccer. And
Cool.
I enjoy watching her out on the field. I work out. I spend time at the range each week. That's
What's
about
that?
it.
The what?
The range, the shooting range.
Oh, okay.
Which one?
I'm a member of a private range up in Escondido, North County. Sorry.
This is awesome. I had no idea.
Escondido
This is
Fishing
cool.
Game, and then I train each week at North County Shooting Center. Patrick Russ is amazing instructor. I've been training with him and my team for the last 2 years.
Wait, train? What are you training
Yeah,
for?
I'm
The apocalypse?
so interested
You
in this.
never know. I mean, the zombie apocalypse, it could be upon us. Have you guys not seen Walking Dead? I mean,
Yeah.
it's marksmanship is fantastic skill to have, I think. And we also do, scenario-based training for the times that we live in.
Yeah. What kind of firearms do you work with?
Rifle, shotgun, and pistol.
Okay. Wow.
What's your favorite?
Pistol and rifle, like AR style rifle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole
I don't know if I
different.
should be talking about
No, this is great. This is a whole different hobby. I didn't even realize
This is why we do North Coast Coffee Chats.
Yeah.
All the things you don't get to learn about somebody in 10 minutes sitting having coffee for breakfast.
Yeah. So how do you balance, having all the firearm trading?
With your clients. Are you licensed to carry a concealed weapon?
Hey, you better
Be
sign
worried
up for
about you
this
one morning.
new program or else. Hey, you better get your documents in. Well, I know where you are. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, how do you balance that, having a family and then this is like the biggest entrepreneurial question of balance, like family and work and life?
My daughter's in school, right? So she's still in elementary school. So I am working when she's in school. My boss is phenomenal about work-life balance and reminding us that, you can clock out when it comes time to clock out. I don't expect these long, crazy hours or weekend hours from you. So it's really more about me shutting off and saying, okay, on the weekends, we definitely do things together. During the week, she usually has soccer practice a couple of nights a week and then a game on the weekend. And so my husband and I, it was easy to have date night every single week before she was born, but that's been harder to come by. So we really have to plan that for ourselves.
Yeah.
So really, it's just a matter of being aware, I think, and present in the moments that I am with them and not working, and making sure that I make time for all of us. And I think my husband and I both do that, so it works out.
That's good.
Awesome. What does your husband do?
My husband has an aftermarket automotive parts company for like Chevys and Tesla.
Chevys and Tesla, both the vehicles I own. Interesting.
Me as well.
You too, huh?
We're a Chevy Tesla family, yeah.
Yeah. I had a neighbor walking their dog one day and caught me in the driveway, and she was like, I just gotta say, like, your guys' car game is on point at this house. I was like, really?
Isn't it nice that she noticed, right?
Yeah. She's like, we're a Toyota family, and we've got, rad Toyota trucks and rad Toyota 4Runners, and you've got rad Chevy Tahoes and Chevy Silverados, and now you got a Tesla. I'm like, I didn't really think like my car game was on point because I owned a Chevy, but okay, thanks. Thanks for noticing.
And your block the woods, that is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, so what's on the future as far as your goals with Paychex, and then also in general for the industry?
Industry is growing. I think probably one of the biggest impacts for our industry, kind of like our prior guest talked about from top tier property management, was that AI is taking a role, right? For us, I heard your story about how many applications and resumes you had to weed through when you guys were trying to find somebody for your NorCal office. And that's something where we're actually leveraging AI. We've got some recruiting co-pilot tools that really kind of take some of the guesswork out of that and streamline that, constantly are looking and seeing what type of matches would be a good fit for your positions. So it really does give time back to the business owner to focus on what they are best at, which is running the business. So I think recruiting and hiring is one of the biggest components where we're going to see that impacted. With all the surveys that Paychex does, that's always come up is identifying, finding, and retaining top talent is one of the biggest challenges that business owners face.
Yeah. I could imagine that's, when you look at these jobs reports month over month, and most of the public probably doesn't give two craps about those reports, but in the mortgage business, it's very vital to understanding the global economics of what could have an impact on interest rates and what could have an impact on the real estate market. And so I follow these things, and when you see there's 8 million jobs available in the United States, you're like, that's an astronomical number. Like, how is there even an unemployment rate? Like, how is there people who don't have a job when there's this many jobs to have? And the amount of people leaving their jobs over the last 2 years because they just wanted to find something different, like proactively resigning from a job without having another job was the most in like recorded history in the last 2 years of people just deciding, I'm done. Like, my time is done here. I might have been great at my job. This company might have been good. it just wasn't for me. So I can see where that could be a big challenge for bigger companies that have, hundreds of employees that you're constantly seeing this door opening and closing over and over again, and the amount of time and energy, that Christian and I had just trying to hire and change out 2 people.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the impacts on a smaller size company too. If you've got a company with 10 employees or less, that can be a big time-consuming component if you've got to replace even just one person, especially if you guys have somewhat of a a specialized area that you guys focus in, like with property management, right? There's a lot of nuanced details experience that you might be looking for in that person. Like you said, that you might not know they have or don't have until maybe something actually comes up. It's not like a clean checklist.
Yeah.
That you can just check it and tick a box. Okay, they've got this, they know this, they know that.
So I'm going to hammer you with a question here, and maybe this is out of your scope. So
Okay.
if it is, just tell me.
Okay.
But this is always a question that Christian and I have kind of ran back and forth on, and we seem to get a lot of different opinions on this. Before he and I partnered up at Top Tier, I worked for another property management company, and I was a property manager. I wasn't technically an employee of the company, but my job was to manage these properties on behalf of this company.
Okay.
And I was paid $10.99 as an independent contractor to working for this brokerage to do my job. And then everybody we talked to in 2023 is saying, well, are you technically telling them what to do every day? If you're telling them what to do every day and you're assigning them jobs and tasks, they're technically an employee, and therefore an employee needs to be W-2'd. How do you, or how does Paychex maybe interpret that situation?
I won't speak for Paychex.
Okay.
I'm not an HR professional, just to be clear. I'm not SHRM certified, Society of Human Resource Management. I would say, though, from my experience, that you're absolutely correct. If there's especially in California, they make a clear delineation between an independent contractor and an employee. Does that person have to are they required to, for instance, just wear a shirt that is the same company logo as the company that has retained them as an independent contractor? Are they able to set their own schedule and their own jobs that they're going out to do? Are they required to oversee anybody? There's a bunch of different considerations that you would take into account that would lead you down the path that, yes, they should be an employee and treated as such and offered benefits and W-2'd and everything else, or no, they're truly an independent contractor. From the scenario that you gave, it sounds to me with that information like that's a employee rather than a contractor.
Got it.
But you were hired like you were 1099.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It's like, I did the same thing for 10 years.
Did you have to clock in and out?
No.
Did they set your schedule?
No.
But they assigned where you had to go every day?
No.
No, they didn't. They didn't do any of those things?
No.
That was at your discretion?
It was my job to manage the 90 properties that I had under my management. And
here's a list, do it how you want to do it?
yeah.
Well, in that case, I misunderstood what you were saying. I thought they were telling you this is who you had to go to, but it was really just a list, and then it was at your discretion. In that case, you may have appropriately been a contractor. But we've got a lot of resources that you can link to through our website. And then, of course, like the Department of Labor and the California EDD, the Employment Development Department, they have a bunch of articles that drill down. But that's one of the nice things about if you use us for HR services, we have professionals that can walk through all of those things and go through a checklist and make those determinations.
That stands out to me a lot. Like, one, your stuff already, even being less than a year into this business. It's very impressive. And maybe that comes from your experience in just a very high, intense process of manufacturing. You kind of just have to learn your stuff. But overall at North Coast Networking Group, our goal is to help people grow in their business and find new clients and referrals. So how can NCNG, how can our audience help you grow?
Well, NCNG members have already been helping me grow. I've gotten quite a few referrals.
Hear that?
Yeah, one came through. There's a group member who was a former board member that recently added us as a vendor for her for payroll.
Sweet.
And then also another referral from her to, a nonprofit who has some needs. So really I'm relationship based and I love networking. I enjoy it very much. I love finding out what people do because you never know when I'm talking to the next person that it might be queued up that I know somebody who can help you with that. For me, I enjoy finding small to medium-sized businesses to work with. Under maybe 80 employees is my particular sweet spot in a variety of industries. I have restaurants that are clients of mine. I have professional service clients, lots of doctors and dentists, believe it or not, quite a bit. We offer payroll for just one officer only type companies all the way through corporations that have, like I said, up to 80 employees. And Paychex as a whole can service a lot more employees than that. But in my niche that I'm working on, it would be companies with 80 employees or less. We do payroll on a weekly basis. I see that a lot for like my construction clients, bi-weekly, bi-monthly, quarterly, and annually. We have some single owner S corporations that take an annual payroll once a year, and they might pay themselves once a year, but there's still those filing requirements on a quarterly basis that have to be made that a lot of times they aren't aware of or don't think about. So we take care of doing that for the entirety of the year.
Yeah. And now, why should someone, if you had like one or two sentences to describe why they should hire you, other than the fact that you might use it for target practice?
Never. I would protect them if anything.
Oh, see,
There
look at
you
her.
go. No.
But why would someone, if there's a small business out in North County or anywhere in California that needs better payroll services, they need better employment services and human capital management, why would they reach out to you instead of?
Because they get all of this. Like, I'm so fun, right?
Bingo.
No,
Click.
payroll service is payroll service, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's set calculations that need to be made. You have a date that the employees need to be paid. It's really what extra or added value is brought to the table. We have Paychex, has been around for 54 years. We have, 750,000 business clients that we can speak to that use our services. A large portion of them have been with us for over 10 years. So we have a deep, trusted reputation. And for me, I like to add an extra layer of service, right? So they can pick up the phone and call me. They can text me. They can email me if they have any trouble, if they have questions, they're just a prospect still and haven't, decided to make that change. I'm happy to spend the time answering questions, educating them, and really assessing what might be best for them.
Who's your biggest competition out there as you're learning your job here in the last year? Who are you running up against and trying to compete against to get people to switch over to working with you?
I'd say that there are two. There's one, if you look at like the two leading companies, there's that other three-letter word out there. But they're geared towards large enterprise companies, not small to medium-sized businesses. So we win in that for sure. Plus 24/7, 365 service. You don't have to open a ticket and get in a queue on the phone, generally speaking, to get service like you might with their model. The other side of that is the other side of the coin is the smaller DIY companies that pop up that are pushing price, but they don't tell you that there's no phone number to call if you have an issue, let alone like a chat resource. You have to open a ticket and then wait for somebody to get back to you. You're also responsible for doing all of your own onboarding, right? And providing all of the documentation, all of that, and getting set up, hoping that you get it set up correctly on your side without being guided through the process. So I think kind of more the white glove, hands-on type service is a big differentiator.
Yeah, especially when it comes to working with people and employees like that. You don't want that system to all of a sudden just not be in place because then you're struggling. If you're not having a employee get paid on a week because there was one error that was made, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Big problem.
Yeah, I've had a overwhelmingly terrible experience with the three-letter word in business. Very, very disappointed with an experience I had personally with my own payroll for my own company with that. So I could see why, and I've had flip side. I've had good experience with the the small mom and pop shop
Right.
type of payroll services.
And
But
mistakes happen, right? In every
Yeah.
single business with every company, it's kind of how things are handled, right? And then how they are corrected to move forward.
yeah. So obviously, people want to find you. Paychex is huge. They can find Paychex, but if they are looking for you,
If you're looking for me,
yeah.
please contact me directly. I'm Brandi with an I, Fluch, Fluch, on LinkedIn. My phone number is 760-916-6997. My email is bfluch@paychex. That's bfluch@paychex.com. Paychex with an X.
awesome. Well, Brandi, thanks for coming on the show with us today. It's great to get to know more about you because we know who not to get in the wrong seat with at breakfast now. Thanks to Max Lux Media, our host, Rob Esposito, for putting
you,
on
Rob.
this fantastic stage for us to run our podcast. Episode 31 going in the books here today. You can find us every Thursday, except for on the fifth Thursday, at Beach Plum Kitchen. So if you are interested in growing your entrepreneur spirit and joining a group of people who are like-minded to you, that are out to create referrals, build relationships, and quite frankly, just have a really good time together as well.
Fun group.
Come check us out at northcoastnetworkinggroup.com. We've got about 30 members currently active in our chapter, and we meet on Thursday mornings, and we're far better than the other three-letter networking group out there.
Wow.
And that other one that
That
has
was
this French name to it as well. We stand out quite a bit from those. So thanks for tuning in on this episode. Hope you enjoyed it, and reach out to Paychex if you've got employees that need payroll. Loan Coach Kelly and my partner.
I'm David West, your solar vest.
Because believe it or not, when I took the test, because
I could do the cabinet for that.
The bed making, that's not included in my
Additional
prices.
services.
That was just kind of the presentation.
I came out here originally in 1992.
That bottle is out there, so you can just tell people, go ahead and rescan it. We have some new policies.
We basically fixed the drainage system from cast iron to ABS.
I was doing it at the time when women weren't really into the brokerage industry.
If you go to keithbadner.com, call my staff or myself at
Afford, one of the biggest investments of life, plus a lot of other services.
Here to beautiful San Diego.
help them in any sort of real estate transaction.
Dubs.
I cannot believe how sophisticated this studio is. I'm excited about the quality of this production.
They've nailed it.